Alright, Gene, here we go. Here is the updated video for your workout. First, come into that squat to overhead press. The big thing here that I want you to remember is to, again, heels shoulder width apart, feet slightly turned out. And then you want to start with the hands, the dumbbells right by the shoulders. And then again, just press straight overhead. And your tendency is you want to kind of start up top first. I want you to start with the hands by the shoulders in what's called a front rack position. Then again, we'll do just the squat. Knees out, hips back and down. And then the new thing that we're going to add is that TRX high row or rear delt row. You want your elbows to stay nice and high, right? And the palms to face down. So squeeze the shoulder blades back, drive the elbows back, squeezing them back and together. The thing with the TRX, right, the further the feet are forward, the more challenging it is. The further the feet are back, the less challenging. The next exercise that we added was the lunge to touchdown. So I'm starting off right without using any weight. I want you to make sure you have this solid first and you don't feel anything in your lower back. All right, so we're just stepping that foot back, touching the same foot that you step back, you're touching that foot to the floor, and the opposite foot out to the side. So right leg back, right fingers to the floor, left hand out to the side. Now, when you feel confident, you can make it a little more challenging. I'm using a medicine ball here. You can use a dumbbell. I think something a little bit higher than a dumbbell. You can also use like a plate, a weight plate, but something that's going to give you some weight, but at the same time give you a little bit of height, a little bit higher off the floor than like a dumbbell. Again, you're just stepping that foot back, tapping to the floor, and then driving up. The key is to stay as integrated as possible. You're hinging from the hips, not rounding at the back. So as the leg goes back, the torso comes forward. The next thing we're going to do is that dumbbell chest press. You know this, we've been doing this pretty consistently. This looked really, really good. I think the key for you is to challenge yourself a little bit more with some resistance, a little bit heavier weight. The last exercise that we added was the rotation, right? The cable rotation. Doesn't really matter what machine you use this on. You can use this on any kind of pulley machine. What I want you to do is do it like your golf swing, right? So as you pivot on that back foot as you bring it forward, pivot on the front foot as you bring it back. Keep the shoulders, keep the arms straight, keep the handles in line with, or your hands in line with your sternum or your breastplate. The tendency is to use the shoulders and then bring the hips around. I want you to imagine like your torso from the hips all the way up is nice and tight. We ended up reverting just to this, where we are just using the torso. You can do either. If you start feeling it in the low back, I want you to try the hip movement, or at least progress to the hip movement. If you feel anything in the low back, then just stay with this right here, where you're keeping the feet planted and just moving from the hips and the torso, so you're not pivoting on the foot. As always, Gene, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll see you soon.